So what we're doing here is a little bit of coaching, it's self-analysis, and showing how to use shooter's eye for that kind of purpose. Um, all I really did here was took a stage from a match that I went to, and I imported it and trimmed out the beginning section, so like prep work, and trimmed out the end section after the time is called, just so really we can focus on uh, looking at the match, looking at the data, and then how I use shooter's eye to analyze splits, movement times. You can do the frame analysis, things like that. And what I'm recording on is actually called an aim cam, but you can use anything, from first person, cameras to third person, someone recording you on their cell phone, tablet, whatever they got. So it's really all the same. So once you go through and import and analyze, you can trim down the time. So I'll be doing this for a few different stages, and if people like it, I'll continue to upload more. There's, I think, 12 stages that we can analyze. So I might do a couple at a time, but we'll see how this goes. So in this first stage, um, I haven't reviewed the footage yet, so we'll see what I kind of come up with. But again, we have our drawing tools available to us up in here. We have our shot analysis tool here and a couple of other different tools. So as I go through, I'll start thinking about, how would I coach somebody with this and utilize the shooter's eye for that. So in this case, I'm really interested in some of the splits, making sure that we have a shot overlay turned on. And our detection settings that I found work pretty well for my setup with my aim cam have been set, and they're persistent, so I don't have to keep resetting them, which is nice. But there may be some fine tuning that we do here to get better detections and stuff. So once you set it for your camera or how it was recorded for that session, that day, whatever, you don't have to keep redoing them. They do stay persistent, which is nice. So we'll just go ahead and use the auto overlay button up here. But again, just it's in both places, so you can click either. But we'll use the one up here. And it detected some shots and stuff. So now we're going to see, like, here's, again, the cyan color is going to be our beep, so the start of a string. And these are going to be our shots and our hits and stuff. There's still some issues with like reloads with my first person camera. It's detecting it as a peak hit, which means it's going to label it as a shot, and I'll show you how we click through those and remove those real quick on first analysis. And then once we do that, we'll go ahead and deep dive and do a little bit of coaching for myself so I can review my footage and see where I have opportunities to improve this. I know this, like for me, honestly, it's not the shooting for the most part. Like I was looking at my uh, hits and stuff, like the overall match, right up there with the top shooters. It's a speed. They're crushing me in terms of time. Right, I'm almost double the time of the first place shooter. So if I can get my time down, which I really think is going to come down for movement for me, not much more, but we'll see how that all goes. And yeah, this is going to hopefully help me figure out, where I just need to essentially move faster. But maybe it's something else. So we'll take a look here. So right now we'll start playback. You can press the spacebar on the PC, but for right now we'll just click play.
When you're ready, stand by.
So right there we can see like the beep detection in this waveform. It's detecting the standby command instead of the actual beep. So what I want to do is fine tune that a little bit. I'll open up my drawer here and I'll say, hey, I want my beep sensitivity. I'll start playing with it until I see, and it might, yeah, there it is. We can see it jumping back and forth there. So the beep sensitivity takes into account like how certain do I think this is a beep, and it thinks the standby is for some reason sometimes. Because it's not a shot, but it is a loud tone and it's in different frequencies and stuff. So people's voices and stuff it can throw out. So something that I do when I know the beep isn't where it is, you can either click and drag the lollipop here to where you know that beep is, and then we can manually adjust it at the end with the time, or fine tune it with the beep sensitivity and go, okay, right around that point is the bare minimum for it to do it. So one of the things I always correct for analysis on the first time is the beep analysis to make sure that everything else is right and spaced accordingly. So we'll go ahead and give it a playback again and make sure that we're right about where we want to be. Yep. So right there, the beep occurred pretty much frame perfect when I want to do it, but at the end we'll see it's probably within a tenth of a second, and we can manually adjust it, which will cause the beep to actually start at the start of the B of the beep rather than at the end. And we'll see how that impacts total times and everything. Right there we had a shot also detected here. That was not a shot. So these four right here were obviously good hits, good shots, but this one right here wasn't. So let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. So we have our detection tolerance turned up quite a ways because we want to make sure that we're getting those. But our detection confidence, see how we just turned that up just to 93, and it removed that false hit and actually removed another one somewhere in here. So maybe that's where we need to be for this set of data. So we'll go ahead and click play again. Again, if like you want to manually do it, you can click on the shots to do it. You see we just removed that shot, for example, undo. Or if we need to add a shot, I can actually use the arrow keys left and right to do frame by frame analysis. And like if I knew there was a shot right here, right? So the shot occurs right here. And we can see this is one frame later, right? So 60 frames a second, whatever that comes out to be. But the shot here lifted, so I want to go back a frame, and the shot should occur right about here, right? So that's when the shot truly occurred. I would just mark the shot, and you can also use keyboard shortcuts, which are under the tooltips here. Shot should be S, so gives you some ideas. And then if you got a lot of shots, you can use this timeline zoom and really get in. You know, use this to drag and look around, but you can go in quite a bit and analyze the waveform as well. But for now, we'll just leave it at 1, and we'll see how the auto detection does with the updated settings. So we're going to do a couple of shots. Those all look good just on initial review. Shooting doubles like that, looking at the splits, yeah, those are all relatively where I would want to be. We saw I missed a shot here, so actually I'll show you how to do this. So we shot there, so we go back a frame, and that's when the shot would have occurred. And then right here, yep, so we go back a frame, hit S, and it adds the shot. Right there should be the next one. It's a frame off, but not too bad. And then this one here, same thing. It's like one frame, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think that's pretty good for my purposes. I go 1 for 1 on the steel. We see again, it detects, frame, detects. It knows that between these two frames, right, because of just how fast it's filming, it's picking, okay, which frame am I really going to make it shoot on? And it's choosing the first frame rather than this frame because of just where that waveform is. It's always going to have to fight between which frame is it going to just because of how fast these cameras film that. So there's some nuance there, but yeah, you'll be within a frame most of the time with the auto detection. So we'll go ahead and play this back from here. We can even see with the aim cam, one of the things I particularly like about it is we can actually see the dot, you know, on most of the targets, or at least the front sight post in this case, right? So we can see the dot right here in the A zone. And it's actually a little different in my eye because of how that aim cam's set up, but it gives you a good indicator, like, okay, the front sight post is at least there. And we can see, like, the hit. So the 4K capability, the aim cam is actually really quite good. So we can see right there, like, the double alpha hit right here, the double alpha hit right here. You can analyze those types of things, too, when you have a high-quality camera. And then the steel hit. We'll go ahead and watch that back. So it had some false detections there, a little Google there. Simply just thought it was a shot for whatever reason. These two are actual shots. Like I said here with the reload, it has that tendency, so what we can do is click and drag, and we can remove clear and range. 2 splits. The falling of the steel there was triggered, so I'll just click and remove that.
I'll get it eventually.
And then, yeah, the rest of it's just unload and show clear a couple of things. Not real happy right here. And this is a good coaching moment that we'll come back to here in a second. But now I know, like, we'll let it play.
I'll get it.
So with auto detection, 3224, and we'll hear the RO say the time and we'll edit it because I think it is a little off, but
Eventually.
we'll,
Show clear.
we'll listen.
If clear, hammer down, holster. Range is clear, 3227.
So 3227, we're off by, I don't know, not a lot. So less than I would dare argue is important for most people. So we just update that here. Again, we hit the edit button, 3227, click apply. It actually moves the shot detection a little bit. So again, when you're within a frame, the real quick back of the napkin math, it's completely acceptable for that. So we'll go back and we'll start doing the coaching portion of this kind of review. So on this stage, we can see we have a total number of shots at 35. The stage did not require that many shots. I think it required maybe 30. So there's some extra shots here and there. It's mostly here at the end. We'll analyze that, but let's take a look. So we had to move into position. We have the no shoot here. We want to make sure that we're aiming. Bring on my tools here. We want to make sure that we're aiming kind of like in this area here, because I would much rather have just a mic rather than a mic no shoot. So I usually aim for this area rather than kind of lower or even risk chopping right here. And we'll see, when we step through, I'm actually shooting a little high. We'll clear out the drawings. So I'm actually shooting a little high. My dot is probably, when you're looking at it, probably in this area here right now. And when I fire, we'll see the dot comes back actually into the window. We can see it right next to my little drawing. So right here, we'll skip ahead to the next shot. It's probably going to be a Charlie in the upper right. Nope, actually we have the two alphas, so we can see here on this frame right there. So we have an alpha here and an alpha here. So from the draw, a 187 with movement, 2 seconds roughly to get 2 hits on that. I'm fairly happy with that. We might be able to pick up a quarter of a second here somewhere, likely on the reaction to the buzzer. It was pretty slow just getting off the draw. So yeah, happy with that performance. And then the transition from these two, right, you can start seeing as soon as this lifts, right, so the shot lifts, and then 1, 2, 3, 3 frames, I'm already going. So like my eyes are already looking at that next target. We're already going over to it. We can see the dot kind of right here. And we're tracking that dot, making sure that it settles enough. It's an open target, so it's low threat. And we can see right here the actual discharge, the back of the gun starting to open up. And the shot's going to be in an alpha. And then we see the dot up here again. And another probably alpha right there. We'll take a quick look. See if we can pick them out. Can't really pick them out, but those I believe are double alpha. So again, we see the shot lift right about here. It's going to be, yeah. So right about here is where that second shot's going to lift. 295. And we're already starting to like break grip and move because I know I have to go to a new shooting position over on the right. I didn't really need to break grip and like bring it down. This probably wasted a lot of time between the 295 and this split here. Yeah, it took me almost 2 seconds to get over there and reestablish grip to get that shot off. So maybe maintaining grip and just doing a quick shuffle step over because it wasn't very far would probably be the way to go. The splits there I'm happy with on that open target. Like as soon as I'm there, just that bang bang. Could probably go a little faster, but not under 0.2 for that open target. I'm happy with those. Immediately again, we can see this is really what I appreciate about kind of what I've been working on is calling the shot good and just instantly getting out of there. So like within 1, 2, 3, 3 frames, I'm already swinging across. I know there's a target on the other side of this, and right here is where I ideally would like to start shooting, right? And we can even check that. So like, let's say I wanted to know, okay, if I had shot here, what would it look like? Well, I just press S and I could see that would have been a 4-6 split. Unfortunately, that wasn't how it worked out, so we can remove this just by clicking the X. We can see right here, a 7-2 split, so like 0.3 seconds was right there, and then the split right there was a 0.24, so not terribly slow, but something I could work on. So this little set of arrays right here too, these guys right here, you'll see how I engage those in a moment. I probably could have engaged from right here, but I didn't want to hit the no shoot. So we'll go ahead and watch this play out. So again, right there, backing up a few frames, probably could have stood there and engaged the open with minimal risk. The top one that's partially kind of occluded with the no shoot there is a little riskier at this distance. It's not terribly far, but just for the speed. So this could have been a quick double tap, and this could have been a focus tap. But I still have to go over there to engage the steal anyway. So I'm pretty sure I decide, I'm going to go and engage the next set of arrays. And when I go and land my feet here in this area, I can just engage all those. And I can even engage this bottom one when I'm moving into position here. Engage the bottom one, transition up to the top, and then go down to the steal. So you'll see me execute that. So I'm already getting up. Should already have the gun up though, because again, we'll back up the frames a little bit. This takes from roughly 590 up. Could have already had the gun up before getting in the shooting area. So we're going to see coming right up in there, wiggle, 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 should have been shooting now, almost a whole second early. But we do a quick, 0.22 split there, not bad. And even the transition up with that level of accuracy, and we can see I think this was the first shot. We can actually go back and look at that. Yeah, the first shot was the low alpha, and the second shot was the high alpha, and then transition up. So we can see here, yeah, this was shot 1, this was shot 2, and then 3 and 4 appear here, which is good, kind of how I want to do it, dragging up across the targets without hitting that no shoot there. So that was really good. And then instantly, we're starting to see me swing over to the steal, but I saw a lot of folks get sucked into this little guy, even though it was relatively close. But immediately coming off the target and swinging. And as soon as that actually clears that barricade, we're seeing me take that shot right here to avoid a wall strike. So not upset with that. As soon as that gets going, I don't know why I had to laugh there. But as soon as that gets going, again, same kind of deal. Didn't have to break grip. The target's already starting to come to view. I should have already had the gun up, to be fair. And at this point, we just do a quick double. Probably in too far at that target, but I believe we'll see which direction I'm going. Yeah, I knew I had to do... okay, yeah, that's why. We got to go back over to the right to get this one inside this little port. That's why I didn't move in too far. So we do the reload. We can check how long that all took. A couple of steps there. Probably could have engaged this target prior to the reload, and we'll see what that would have looked like. Just because that wasn't a lot of movement. That took from about 2 seconds for the reload and the movement there. Probably could have nailed a whole second off that if it was just moving and taking 2 shots, and we still had enough rounds in the magazine. We would have just fired 17 rounds, so didn't need to reload there yet. Hits on that were good, and then engaging the steal here, real slow moving into it for whatever reason. Took 2.36 seconds there to get into that position. We're still at 18 rounds, which is good. This could have been better too if I hadn't forgot about this target. Saw it out of the corner of my eye, had to go back, so we'll see that. We had the steal way back here, right on the timeline, so it took a long time to transition over to that because of forgetting about it. So that took nearly 2 seconds right there just to recognize that, a little longer than 2 seconds. And then almost a half a second split, which at that distance with a wall there, I could accept that. Maybe a little faster, but transitioning now to the other targets. This is where I would have started to run into issues if I hadn't reloaded earlier. The standing reload is never fun, so we want to make sure that we avoid those. So maybe that was the right choice. But yeah, just transitioning across the target arrays that are presented available. So double taps there. 3 shots on that one. I'm pretty sure I called one of Charlie's wide. I was still moving anyway, so didn't really matter too much. And then getting into position to be able to engage the remaining targets. Not sure what I was thinking here. I think I just kind of got confused in where the targets were. So right, we're coming up on position to be able to engage this target that's here in the back, and then 2 more over on this side. But if you watch, I'll transition completely past this target here. Yep, so now that target presents itself, it really should have been a quick transition into this target, and then engage this target and do a lean for this target last. Because what I did was go here, over to here, and then back to here with like 5 shots. Yep, and still wasn't enough.
I'll get it eventually.
I'll get it eventually, yeah. We can see on that last partial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 shots. A couple, I think, were over the top. There were definitely some wall strikes that we call out. But 6 shots there, right? So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we had not done that, we would have saved over 2 seconds. Just if we had done the doubles correctly on that target. A little harder because of how it's positioned and stuff. We'll back up so we can see it a little better. Like it's not presenting itself much, and even with leaning out of the area, we can see there's a half of a slasher essentially available to me for hitting. So just need to make sure that we get those and watch out for those wall hits that everybody was getting. So yeah, we could have saved easily on this run, I'd say 3 to 4 seconds just by thinking about the stage plan a little bit better, if not more. So then that's not even talking performance and movement time. This is just better recall of a stage plan and walking through and knowing what to execute. So we'll listen out through the RO again.
I'll get it eventually.
The 3227, we'll see it's doesn't change anything for what we're detecting. So that's really it. We just did an analysis of one of the stages. It allows you to do the coaching. Like I said, we didn't even look into things like angles, where if that matters for coaching a person to show a grip angle or things like that, we can absolutely look into those. We can change out the colors. The yellow was a little hard to see, I noticed, but we can always pick different colors, whites and reds and oranges. Depending on what you like more, you can do that. The straight line tool, if you need that, is available. Tagging too, so like if I wanted to compare myself to another person whose data I had, like the same stage, I could tag this as the event name and then the stage number, and then do a comparison. So that would be how I do that. But yeah, I'm going to probably open up another one, and you'll see that edited in with this one. And we'll go through another setup of the tool. I won't bore you with the initial setup, but once we get in there, we'll run the auto shot analysis, show you how I edit it real quick, and then we'll do the coaching thing again. The last thing I want to mention, though, before we go, is down on the bottom, when we scroll down, we can see export video with overlays. When we click that, it'll actually export the video with these on here. So I'll click that, it'll export it, and then I can upload it wherever I want and share with friends and compare, how we all did. So kind of a neat feature that I hope you all like to use, and hope that gives you some idea on the tools and how to use Shooter's Eye. So we'll see you in just a second with the next stage. So for those of you in the last analysis, so you're curious what I ended up with, it was like 25 alpha, 4 Charlie, and 1 delta. And on this one, it's something like 26 alpha and 4 Charlie. So just comparing that to, that might be a feature that I add in later to Shooter's Eye, is able to do the overlay like manually at the end to show your hits. You just get those off practice score and then import them, or type them in. I think might be the way to go. Again, we're trying to keep everything local. No subscriptions, no internet required, blah blah blah. So we'll see, but I think that would be neat. Maybe do a hit vector calculator too there at the end. So that might be a feature coming down the pike. But anyways, here we are on the next stage. Again, did a little trim of the video, and we'll see how I do on this stage. The settings again should be relatively the same. I'm gonna actually lower the shot spacing just a hair. That might have been the same, but either way. So we're going to do an auto detect and see how those treat us on this stage. It should be pretty good. Obviously, we've got some troubles with beeps and detections and things like that, so we know these aren't right. Just looking at the waveform here, there's something going on, but let's take a look and see where we're at. So again, for some reason with the aim cam, the initial start of a thing generates this peak waveform. It thinks it's a beep. It's not, and that usually throws off things for a couple of seconds. So we can look at, like in advanced settings, like a string break. We can just set it to maximum when we're doing, oh no, not echo guard. We want that lower. Let's say 80. String break though. This means like how much time between different strings. So if you're running drills, let's say, and you have a drill that you're running repeatedly, maybe you want a string break that's lower, a couple of seconds. But in this case, I want it at maximum because I know there's only one string, meaning the entire set. Again, we'll tune our beep sensitivity a little bit. We'll see if we can pick up that first beep right there. So it's actually lower this time. For some reason, it's thinking that that's better. So a little less sensitive, throwing out other beeps, and it probably thought that at the very start was a beep because of higher sensitivity for whatever reason. But I bet it's around this area. If not, no, it looks like it might be it. So again, fine-tuning some of these things is the easy way to do it. Once you get used to it, you can make it really quick. There's always going to be updates and stuff as I update the app to make this work better too. Hopefully to a point where it's 100%, well, let's say 99% accurate without much user intervention. But as we can see, this is probably a beep. So let's just do a quick playback using the spacebar. Yep, it was the beep. And we can see the hit detections as well. I know, like down here, for example, it's probably not, well, might be a shot, might have been steel or something. We'll analyze the rest of the video, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so there was another shot here that it didn't pick up, the third hit, or third shot on that open target, which we really didn't need. Might have just got a little excited, so let's go ahead and we'll shrink our window. So there's a gripper bar here. We can shrink the window a little bit so I can see my waveform and I can see, or the shot detection analysis, and I can see what we've got kind of going on here. I'm going to try lowering my confidence a little bit and see what that does. I'm starting to see a lot of false positives pop in. We're going to raise that back up to around 94. But I know at that point there are 3 shots. Start playing around with the detection. It might think it's an echo because it was a little quick and there were 3 of them in succession, right? So it doesn't often have issues with that, but sometimes it does. So it could be something minimum shot spacing, probably not because I'm not shooting 12 splits. Maybe echo guard. Yeah, so right here, the echo guard setting is what's preventing that. It's thinking it's an echo. So we'll just tune that to 40 and we'll go ahead and do a playback. Okay. The single shot here is going to be on that steel, so the splits on that were good actually from the beep too. I'm pretty happy with that. And we can see too, like as soon as that shot breaks, we're kind of going to do the coaching and the editing all at once in this one. But as soon as that shot breaks, right, it's probably the Charlie. We're transitioning off probably even before we really should be, working our way over towards that next target. The zoom and enhance right here, we might be able to pick up. Nope, it didn't. It's not going to give us the fidelity we need, unfortunately. Just using the arrow keys, going back and forth. The first 2 shots, like we can see where the dot was. Right, so the dot here, it's probably a Charlie hit. Yep. The dot right in the alpha. Yeah, oh no, actually, we got an alpha hit already. So there's an alpha hit right there. And there's probably another alpha hit right there. So the third hit probably wasn't needed. So we could have saved a quarter of a second with that third shot on an open target that close. Yeah, I think it's right here, actually. So we don't really need that. But yeah, we can do reset zoom and continue playing along. I'm happy with that transition for a second to a steel target like that. Could do a little faster, but for me, that's pretty good. Movement speed needs +1 to speed for sure. Getting up on the gun, I'm seeing the target. This is good. So getting up on the gun before I'm actually getting into position. I'm not exactly a speed demon. But we can see the target's obviously, behind. I want to do that. The target's behind the wall, so I'm getting up on the gun just as soon as I know I'm going to be clearing it, and it's going to start coming into vision here. So we'll see it'll fall into place right here. And as soon as I get around that wall, we're seeing I'm not even fully clearing it, right? But I can see I've got a good hit right where that dot is. And I'm taking that shot. We can see the slide unlocking and everything, so we know that the shot is already getting its way out of the barrel. Then we're taking that second shot. But that took 2.80 seconds to go, maybe 10 feet, maybe 12, whatever it was. Not exactly the fastest, so get on cardio, dude. Let's go back a couple of frames. We can see here again, right, I'm coming around the corner. I did a good. I've been working on this where I don't break my grip instantly every time I'm moving positions. I'm coming around the wall, though. My grip is still established, we can see. We can actually shrink this now. And use the gripper bar to bring this a little bigger so we get our tools. So we see that we're coming around that wall. Before, right here, really, I should have had the gun already on target. So a little late to the party. But we can see I had to come around the corner anyway to engage this target array, so getting a little closer didn't really hurt me so much, other than I could have already been transitioning here at this point. So if I had shot as soon as that came in right here, again, we can do a quick analysis just by hitting the S key. Let's say I had shot here and then here, right? We would have had all that time saved versus all that time that was wasted, right? So engaging this target earlier would have saved me probably half a second to a second. The transition over. So as soon as that slide's unlocking and stuff, we're already transitioning, which is good. Snapping to a little overdriving of the gun. We can see here the dot is out in La La Land a little bit, but not too bad. Let's do a frame by frame, see how far I went. Actually, just to the right edge of it, so not too bad. Probably a little bit of the gun leading the eyes there. Again, this is a real dangerous target in this area. I'm aiming actually at the very top, or trying to with my eyes, and we can see that I got lucky where that dot landed, right? So I'm actually splitting between the no-shoot and the alpha zone. But on these targets, I should have been aiming more like here, but can't really get too upset about that. Those are 2 alpha anyway, and there's nothing in the no-shoot, so real happy with that. 1 for 1 on steel again, dig it. If we go back, we're waiting. There it is. A lot of folks on this steel actually, for some reason, struggle with it in multiple shots, so a 0.86 split, yeah, clean that up a little bit, maybe 0.5, 0.6, but still happy with a 1 for 1 on steel. Right there, getting a reload. We can see that the mag was stuck a little bit due to how I was trying to get her out. Give her the old flick. We're already able to shoot by this point, but we still have a couple of more steps to go until we can engage this target here anyway. So again, we could engage this target, and we're going to see that the target over here actually comes into view before I'm done engaging this target. So yeah, right here I should have already had shot and been over this way. So again, if we mark this here, we could have saved 0.27 seconds on that. So we'll get rid of that one. Again, real proud of the I shot, I'm moving, right? So there was a brief hesitation there, but not much. Let's see how that landed. Again, we're using the arrow keys. The dot is to the left side of that target, so a little overdriving, but yeah, we can see the dot clear as day. It's a little to the left, so a little overdriving the gun. Waiting for it to settle for a couple of frames, and then the shot breaks. Grip needs to be tightened up a little bit, I can tell too on this stage. Let's go back and watch that in real time though. So we got the reload, no problem. Move faster, cardio. That snap there was pretty good too. So we're off this target. Overdriving the gun though, again, so probably need to just pump the brakes a little sooner, like right here. It may not be a visual thing. It may be just overdriving the gun due to muscle. But still, happy with that. Breaking the grip because I had more than like 3 or 5 steps. Gonna go and engage this target over here that we're seeing out of the corner of my eye. Oh, nope, we got some before that. Alright, let's see what happened here. So I'm coming around this corner, and I'm thinking, oh, I can engage this target. Nope, there's a wall in the way that I apparently had forgotten about. So I know there's something here because of this port being the way that it is. And so I'm like, well, where's my target? There's nothing here. Dummy. So we'll see. It'll take my brain a second to fire. Nope, not this guy. Keep going. And then finally, yeah, that's a low. That's an attack target that close, even with a tux. That should have been much faster. But again, got distracted by 2 targets, 2 sets of walls, stage plans all messed up. But still, 2 alpha there. Transition over to the steel, and then I'll transition over to this guy here. Happy with the steel hit. I can over transition just a wee bit. That was a really good getting off that target. So right here we see the gun lifts, and then instantly my eyes are darting for that next target. The gun comes up. I like that one too. So we got 1, 2 quick attack targets. That could have been faster. That didn't need to be as slow as it was on the transition, or on the split. That could have been much faster. Reloading coming in. I think we had a reload back here, didn't we? Yeah, we did. So we had to reload again. Maybe we didn't. Let's see. We reloaded at 14. And this is another thing too. Like I can tell. Wait a second. Yeah, I detected that. So we reloaded at 14 shots. Probably could have stretched out to there and done the reload on this move here, and then just had to do 1 reload. Nope, we couldn't have, because this target, the steel, and then the other target, so we would have run out. Yep, and then this is too short of a period. So yeah, reloading back here was actually the right call. Yeah, we would have had been out a while ago. Reloading here, though, might not be needed, so we're going to see, we shot, let's go back. There's 6. That's 11, so I got 10 left in the gun. Those are obviously the reload sounds there. So there's 6. I would have just squeaked it out. That would have been 2 rounds left in the gun at that point. So did I need that second reload? The answer is no. But just in that little bit of movement, I figured I could get the reload done. I think it cost me some time though. If I was in position at this point, I would have been happier. So that would have been a 1.68 second move and get there. Because that target's already presenting itself. I should have already been shooting at it. That transition looks weird. That's the eyes following the gun. Same right there, and I'm not sure why I only shot that one once. That's interesting. That's why. We can see here I had already engaged that target. So this again is one of the nice things about Shooter's Eye. I can go back and like look and see and even mark it if I want to as a string break. So this target already had been engaged. I wonder if we can see the hits actually. I think I recognized that I had already engaged it after that shot, so I would have saved that time there. But nope. So we would have saved right there a half second just by not doing that. So we could have easily on this stage saved 2 seconds just in engaging targets sooner and maybe not making that reload. We would have had 3 rounds left, so didn't really need it.
Clear, Hammer. Clear. 3290.
The RO explained to me later he was waiting for me to like make a second shot on that target, and then we looked at it and yeah, there were all alphas in it anyway, so it didn't matter. Didn't need to shoot it again. The RO calls out 3291. So again with auto detection, a little off within a frame, not bad. So we just do a quick update 3291. Updates all of our splits automatically, and I can go down through and just check real quick. We'll scroll down. Again, when I click export with overlays, I'll rename the file. I can share with friends. What I want to do too is also save the project. So in this case, it was Standby to Fly 2026 stage 6. Always above, I think was the name of it. And then if I want to later, I can come back to it and continue working on it or show it to other people. I could tag it if I want to compare against others. The stopwatch too is something that I haven't used much. That's not good. But the stopwatch is something too where you can just click it and as you play through the video. So we'll go back to like here. We can see the stopwatch is running. And it'll tell me that took me 4.2 seconds to go that little distance. So from there around the corner to here. Nope. Yeah, there we go. So 4.2 seconds to move this distance. That might be okay. But yeah, you can use a stopwatch for those kinds of things. So I'm going to export this video and share it with some folks. And yeah, maybe I'll continue this series analyzing the additional stages. But hope this helps. Shows you how I utilize Shooter's Eye. A little bit of coaching maybe for those of you who are looking to get a little better. And for those of you that are better than me, feel free to offer up suggestions if I didn't touch on something that you think I should have touched on. Obviously, yeah, go fast, don't suck, or go faster, aka cardio. But yeah, whatever you got. Okay, thanks. We'll see you next time on Range Time.